Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be giving you my best tips on how to succeed in math class. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for new videos on every Tuesdays and Fridays. So my first tip for you guys is to do practice problems. This is the best way that you're going to succeed in math class, is by doing practice, because you can't really study in a traditional way of just memorizing facts. It's about understanding if you know how to do the questions. So doing practice problems, even if you don't want to, even if there is a million practice problems that you feel like you need to do, make sure to do them. And even if you understand the topic that you're doing, still do the practice problems, because usually the practice problems will have like the hardest thing in that you'll do in the unit. So you'll find out what you don't understand right away so that you still have enough time to get help before your next assignment or test or whatever it is that you have to do. You'll be completely prepared. And even if you don't feel like you need to, by doing the practice problems, you'll reinforce these steps in your brain so that if you're on a test and you have a blank moment or something, you'll just feel so much more confident and you won't have those moments because you will have done the steps 1,000,001 times. My next tip for you guys is to actually go to math class. I know this sounds like pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of people think that they can just get the notes from a friend or something, but that's not the same as being in a class. If you don't go to class, then you'll miss out getting to listen to the questions that are asked by other kids, which can really help you because they might ask questions that you didn't even know you had. You'll miss a chance to discuss with your classmates what you're doing. And you'll also miss a chance to ask your own questions. So if you copy the notes from someone and you have questions, all you can ask is your classmates and they might not understand either. So actually going to class will help you a ton. Okay, so for my next tip, I recommend to create good notes. A lot of people I know don't really take their own notes for math, but it's actually a really good thing to do. You want to create a step-by-step process for every new concept that you're doing. So for example, if you're learning how to graph quadratic functions, for example, you're going to come up with an example equation and do the steps to follow it. And make sure you understand where each step is coming from. So maybe make it so you're not copying down the teacher's steps word for word, but making your own steps from your head, because that'll make it so that you remember them better. And it will also make it so that you are understanding the concepts better, understanding the unit better, and then in turn you will do much better on the test because you have this little mental checklist of steps in your brain. The other good thing about this is you can make them as detailed as you want. You can show all the steps, or you can just do a brief explanation depending on what works for you and how well you understand what you are writing about. But even if you really understand, please write out the steps because it will help. Now, I know for math, it's really easy to get frustrated. I've done it 1,000,001 times where you're doing a question and you just don't understand what's going on and you just are on the verge of tears. Trust me, this has happened to me. It's probably happened to you. It's not a big deal, but there are things that you have to do to prevent this, or if it does happen, to what the next thing that you need to do is, because doing that's not very productive. So instead, what you can do is, first of all, take a break. 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long you need to cool down. Don't do any other schoolwork. Don't even think about your math. Just go watch an episode of a TV show or something and just lay on your bed. Just clear your head. After you're finished taking a break, you're more calmed down now, less frustrated. You can try to attempt the problem again, and maybe with a new mindset, you will be able to complete it. If not, you can ask a friend or a family member or someone else who can help you understand what's going on and probably complete it, or just move on to another subject for the time being. Okay, so for another tip is, yes, you still need to study. You have no idea how many times I've heard kids say like, oh, I don't need to study, it's just math, like whatever, like, and then those people never do well on the test. So yes, you still need to study for math, and it's a little different than, like, for example, biology or something. You're not just memorizing facts or vocabulary words. I mean, you might have a little bit of that, but not a lot. It's just knowing how to study. You need to study, but you also need to study differently. So this is the main problem that I had for a while, is learning how to study for math, because you can't just make flashcards and do whatever. So there are ways that you can study, and I find that by reviewing what you don't completely understand, make sure to review those things first. Memorize what you need to memorize, but don't memorize everything. Aim for understanding how to do it. And do practice problems. Again, this will show you what you don't understand. You don't need to be guessing. This is the best way to do it. And lastly, make sure that you are understanding all the steps that you wrote down in your notes earlier. Alright, I'm moving on to my last tip. Remember that you're doing the best you can. Math is really hard and it takes a long time to get. You might need to get a tutor, you might need to get more help from your teacher. That is nothing to be ashamed about. If you get a bad grade, it's not a big deal. It is math, it's super hard, you're not the only one that struggles with it. Make sure you know that and don't be too hard on yourself over a bad grade. Just know that you are trying your best. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to subscribe because I post new videos on every Tuesdays and Fridays. So I'll see you next time. Bye!